My name is Melissa Dawson. I am an assistant professor of industrial design at Rochester Institute of Technology. My background is in textiles and apparel. So I teach the soft product design courses within RIT's graduate and undergraduate ID program. What are soft products? That is a great question. And I get asked this all the time, not only by, people that I randomly meet, but also people within the design world. So basically what we focus on designing are products that are used by people every day. Typically industrial designers focus on mass produced products. So we're not products that are one-off or custom made. But within soft product design, what we do, or we design products that are made out of textiles or fibers, right? So that can be anything from a backpack to a purse to clothing. Some medical equipment has textiles in it. There's always students that are interested in shoes, although that's very specialized. We do home products. I have a great class that I do in conjunction with the Strong National Museum of Play, where we do soft toy design. We just have fun is what I like to tell people. So we do a lot of fun things with fabric and fibers. I heard of So Green a few years back, actually from one of my students who I think had stumbled upon it. She'd lived downtown and was like, oh, there's this great store. You should go try it out. Go see what it's all about. And I was like, sure, okay, whatever. Went in and just fell in love and have been going ever since. I send all my students there. And yeah. And one day I was in the shop because I can't stay away. And I was talking to Josefina and she was like, oh, have you ever thought about joining the board? And I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm important enough to do something like that. And she said, no. She said, we just want a diverse group. We'd love to, have more people from the community. And now that, so many of my RIT students are going to the shop, it just seemed like a really good fit. And so, yeah, I applied and was accepted. The collaboration between RIT and So Green, it seemed to happen gradually over time. More and more of my students were looking for not internet options for sewing supplies and fabrics, notions, that sort of thing. And the more of my students that I sent to So Green, and all of them just fell in love. I can't even tell you how many emails and text messages I've gotten from my students who go there for the first time and they're like, you didn't lie, this place is awesome. And they keep going back and then they tell their friends and then their friends go. And then, they're doing all sorts of interactions with the shop and with the staff there. Those that are lucky enough to be, in the shop either early summer, which is kind of late in the semester for us, or early in the semester or late in the summer, get to interact with the interns. They love hearing about their experiences and how, what I hear the most is probably, I wish I had an opportunity like that when I was younger. Most of the students that I get have no sewing experience. A lot of them think that they know textiles because they wear clothes, but as we all know that just because we wear clothes does not mean that we know how to design them or to, make them better, right? Which is what we do. It's a gradual relationship that's grown over time. Going forward, I'm hoping to do more formal projects between my RIT design students and either So Green interns, or maybe it's something with fashion camp, or, you know, we can start doing things together, because I think the more we reach out as RIT people and join the community, and more times that the, you know, community can join with us, we stay grounded and we learn more, and it's such a two-way street for learning and growth. There's a lot of very obvious benefits to having my students interact with So Green, but there's also been a lot of surprising to me benefits that I didn't see coming. The students, I have noticed an increase over the last few years, really concerned with sustainability and environmentally friendly practices. And obviously that's, you know, core to So Green's foundation. And so the students really love knowing that they're helping to save things, you know, go into the landfill. As industrial designers, we design a lot of products. And so that is something that we really strive at RIT to teach our students, you know, think of end of product life cycle. What happens to the product when you're done with it? Well, fabric and notions and scissors and supplies, those are products, right? And so helping to give those new life, bring them into their class products and projects is a really great thing. So I think that's really obvious. And I had a feeling that they would like that and get with it, you know. They are a little over big box stores, and they want things that are unique. They want things that are their own. My students do not shy away from a challenge. So while they may find something that might give another sewer or designer pause, thinking, oh my gosh, that's going to be so hard to work with, they go for it, right? And those weird, quirky things they find at So Green, and they can, you know, make those individual design choices that, you know, you get limited sometimes at other kind of big box stores. So those are really big. What I was surprised by, and maybe not so much looking back, but initially I was like, oh, I didn't think of that. They really loved how welcoming So Green was, how they went and they just felt like they were immediately at home, right? And they were welcomed, they were invited into the space, they could take as much time as they wanted to look around and ask questions. Everybody was there willing to help them. And it didn't matter that they hadn't been sewing for 20, 30 years, you know, there are no dumb questions kind of a thing. And I think that's really important to them, and that's why they keep going back there. Again, they love talking with everybody in the store. They come back and they're like, oh, I met this other person, and, you know, we're going to work on this, and we connected through social media, and you know, they've joined the community, which is really important. I think a lot of times college students don't venture off campus, right? They have everything that they need right there on campus, which is great. But I think, you know, there's more to learn, and they're just going to become better people the more diverse and, you know, more they expand their circles. So I think that's a really important part of So Green, is that aspect of community. What is the future of design and soft product design? I think it's really strong. I have to laugh. I can't even tell you how frequently I have other designers, industrial designers, go, yeah, like this new field of like textiles is really taking off. And I was like, you have no idea what you're talking about. We have been around so much longer than you, but okay. So do I think textiles and apparel is going anywhere? Absolutely not. I think it's changing a little bit, right? We don't have a ton of what in the industry we would call cut sew, so cutting sewing jobs on US soil anymore. That is changing. It's coming back. But what I tell my students are, it doesn't matter if you don't get a job sewing every day for the rest of your life. If you know how to sew, you can design better products for the people who do so. And what inevitably happens is that these students go out and they get design jobs. A lot of my students are now working in soft product design, which is awesome, all different fields. And while they may not use their sewing skills daily in their job, it does help them design better products, increase efficiencies, hit better price points, all of that boring industry stuff. But I think my favorite part is when they go home, they need to relax after a long day, and they sit down at their sewing machine and they sew things, they knit things. I can't tell you the amount of cute little crocheted animals that I get sent pictures of after a long day of work, and they find this comfort in this release in using their hands with the fibers and fabrics. And it's just so incredibly fulfilling for me to pass that love on to other students. I don't, I teach college students, so I don't get to meet a lot of parents. But I meet a fair share around graduation, and sometimes around homecoming and stuff. And I have had many parents thank me for, teaching these students basics that they didn't get themselves, right? I love that my daughter can now sew a button back on her shirt, and it just doesn't get thrown out. Or I found my son, he hemmed his pants last night to wear at graduation, and these are, they're life skills, right? And there's a lot of really thankful parents out there, and they wish that they had been able to teach their kids these skills, but they didn't have them themselves, so but hopefully my students will pass it down. Going forward, I would love to get my students at RIT more involved with younger students in the Rochester area. And I think So Green is like the perfect bridge and connection with that, because So Green, has that connection to local high schools, some local youth groups, that sort of thing. And I think, does it become a mentorship program? Does it just become, hey, let's all get together and hang out and make stuff together? I think there's a whole bunch of different ways that we could take that and benefits from all of that. I think what I would love to try to do this summer is get a couple of my students involved with fashion camp, to kind of start that connection out. And we have a couple fashion shows that we're doing at or events, I should say, at RIT, that I would love to bring in some students from, through So Green in and work on something that way. I don't know, is it a joint project? Is everyone doing something individually? Are we designing a whole collection? I think we could do so many different things, but that would be, I think, kind of the low-hanging fruit, is to start getting like fashion camp participants involved with some of the stuff that we're doing on campus, and then maybe more formally organizing, I don't know, like an exchange program. I don't know, I have a lot of ideas. One thing that's really struck me about this campaign so far is hearing from the interns and from some of the skills that they learned as an intern bringing to college. a lot of the students nowadays that I run into are not comfortable talking to other people. They don't have those communication skills. They don't have that ease of interaction with other people. They have a hard time putting themselves in other people's shoes. And I think, watching the videos that have been posted on the previous So Green interns, I was like, they learned so much of that through the internship, right? And so there's so many other students, people, right? Doesn't even have to be students, that would benefit from that and from that interaction. And again, anytime you can kind of get out of your comfort zone, you can learn new things. These are lifelong skills that these interns are going to take with them, and it's just going to, you know, set them up for success later on, be it coping mechanisms, right? You've learned a skill to de-stress when you get home from class, right? And you're knitting. You've got, being able to make a phone call or reach out and ask for help to learn a new skill, help somebody find something somewhere, there's that empathy. I think all of these things are just invaluable. And with the way that we're going, not to get too philosophical and deep, but so much of what we do is digital and through a screen now. You lose that in-person connection. And I've seen it with students. They kind of forget that people aren't just random strangers on the other side of a screen, and so anytime you can get that one-on-one interaction, I think is invaluable these days.